Good evening, everyone, and welcome to 1847 Liberty. Tonight, we're we're talking, we're taking an honest look in the mirror. There's a Liberian saying that goes, if your house doesn't sell you, the street will not buy you. In simple terms, if your own people don't lift you up, the world won't either. Yet, across our communities, at home, and in the diaspora, too many of us are pulling each other down instead of pushing each other forward. From the farms of Ghana, where cocoa farmers thrive through cooperatives, to Liberian neighborhoods, where jealousy, entitlement, and quiet resentment often block progress. We see a painful contrast. Why are some communities turning solidarity into, why some communities in Ghana are turning solidarity into prosperity, while others in our own very Liberian setting are stuck in an exhausting cycle of comparison and suspicion. Tonight, we ask a tough question. Are we holding ourselves back? We'll talk about a crab mentality that if I can't have it, neither can you mindset, and how it shows up in our politics, our workplaces, our churches, our families, and even on social media. We'll confront the uncomfortable truths about envy, immigration, remittances, and the pressure we put on those who leave home in search of a better life. We're not here to just diagnose the problem. We're here to explore real solutions, from saving clubs to cooperatives to grassroots peace building to a new culture of gratitude and shared success. Joining me, joining me today to talk about this important, this critical topic are voices from psychology, history, community leadership, and the Liberian diaspora. People who have seen the damage that division can do and the power that unity can unleash. So stay with us, and by the end of this hour, you may look at success, your own and your neighbors, very differently. I'm Thomas Sarko, your host, and this is 1847 Liberty. Please stay tuned. Okay, let's welcome our panelists. Uh, okay, gentlemen. Okay, we have our dynamic senior criminal justice and law enforcement commentator, Mr. Charles E. King. Welcome back to the show, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sako. Thank you so much.
Sir. And my good friend, fintech entrepreneur, the CEO of Safe Circle Capital, Mr. Jacob E. Rowland. from Rhode Island, United States. Welcome back to the show, Mr. Roland.
Hey, Mr. Tucker, thanks very much. My pleasure.
And Mr. Bundu is not ready yet, but we will get back to him when he fixed his technical problem back in Liberia. Uh, let's take this one and then get right into our discussion. Yeah, so okay, let's do this. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we are talking about the tribe mentality. How can we turn envy into unity and collective progress as a people, as Liberians? Let's begin. Rising above the tribe mentality. How do we do that? So, a popular Liberian parable says, if your house doesn't sell you, the street will not buy you. In other words, if your own people don't support you, outsiders are unlikely to step in. Tonight, okay, sorry. Glitch on our end, but welcome back. So tonight we're asking, why is unity so hard to sustain in some of our communities, and how can we change that? We'll look at how solidarity has helped places like Ghana's cocoa industry thrive through farmer cooperatives, and we'll ask why individuals acting alone often fall behind because they lack bargaining power. In contrast, Liberia has often lagged behind its neighbors. And many scholars point to jealousy and a lack of unity as part of the problem. Research by Osman Antwi Boateng, Associate Professor of Political Science and International Relations at the United Arab Emirates University, shows that development and job creation efforts among Liberian diaspora communities in the US frequently stall, not only because of high costs, but also because of limited collaboration. Compared to some other African diaspora communities or immigrant groups, Liberian communities have not yet realized their full potential. Internal communication, I beg your pardon, internal competition keeps getting in the way of collective progress. I want to start with this big picture. When you look at Liberian communities at home and abroad, what holds us back from working together the way that other groups of immigrant communities do? And I'll pose this question to my expert panelist. Mr. King.
Yes, sir.
Your take. What is really holding us back from working together as a group?
Thank you. You know,
yes.
Thank you so much. And in law enforcement, criminal justice, you study psychology, sociology, criminal law, legal system. You have to study the mindset of people. And so I want to read to you, a comment from Dr. Carl Burroughs' book on Liberia and the quest for freedom. It's something that's very important here, and it refers, you see, let me tell the listeners, I read books and I consult with professionals. That's what I do because one man doesn't know everything. And you reach out and consult with others because it adds to the success of the objective. So let me read what he says.
Mm-hmm.
The next step when you talk about undoing the effects of slave trade will require nothing less than a cultural revolution. The first step involves people learning what actually happened as opposed to myth and denialism. But here's where it gets interesting. He goes further to say the next step is a collective effort to root out the ill effects that several centuries of selling some kith and kin, forcing others to work for free, and inhumane treatment of the poor and less powerful had on our psychic as a people and our sense of morality, our ability to empathize across ethnic lines, and our lack of development. Only then can we pledge never again and move to forge a common future together. This is understanding the general issue in our psychic that passes on from generation to generation. So, first of all, we must recognize what actually happened. And in Liberia case, if you ask the traditional person from different ethnic background, they will tell you no slavery ever took place in Liberia before the establishment of Liberia. That's why I was telling to Mr. Bondu earlier, you have to understand the history, the true history of your country in order to develop patriotism. It comes from knowing how it starts. So slavery took place long before the establishment of Liberia. And as a result of that, knowing that, then you develop a program and training program, lecturing program, radio program that you mentioned the last time we were on the presentation, Mr. Sako, getting the press involved, radio station involved to bombard this information through the radio so the market people can hear it when they're sitting down and selling. Those things register in the human mind when they hear things and in the background when they're working constantly. Nkrumah in his country, in Ghana, he used to broadcast certain information to the radio all the time. You all weren't born at that time, but I used to understand Ghana. I went to Ghana. I was born in the times when Nkrumah, Kenneth Kaunda, Julius Nyerere, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Hufra Bonye, Guinea, these are men of substance when they were talking in their countries. Now, I'm not saying that they were perfect. I'm not saying that Liberia was perfect. Every country, no matter how good it looks, have had their own issues. I'm not talking about that right now. I'm talking about how can we first, how can we eliminate this thing in our society is to understand, we have to understand our history. And Dr. Burroughs, now he's a man of immense qualification, more qualified than I am. But as a law enforcement officer in dealing with people in our society, I have to understand sociology and psychology. And I have to read and understand books written by people like this, a Liberian. How can we prevent the crab mentality? When I went back after my studies, when I went and got a young man to join the police and he became my orderly, I was transferred later on at some point in time to the police academy. And he wanted to come with me as my orderly. I said, fine. He was in training. His first paycheck, he came to me in the office and said, Chief, I brought this to you. I look at it. I said, what's that? I asked for no money. He said, but that's for you. I said, where for me for? He said, well, this is our way when we when we get a job, someone help us, we bring the first page. I said, no, 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 I'm not in that. No, 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 no. I'm not. You have, if you know more and better, you have to take action. You have to take the first step. So therefore, when I was in the CID, when I joined, I said I'm coming abroad. And when I learned, I would return back and spread my knowledge to others. And that's what I did. So you have to be confident within yourself and also willing to give. And you have to be willing to uplift others. You have to uplift others. The knowledge is not for you. So where does it start? As you mentioned, if the house don't sell you, the street can't buy you. It's just like that. So it has to start with us. Every single one of us who have been to the United States, England, Paris, France, and got our advanced education, we have to understand where Liberia is, the psychic that has played on our society before the establishment of Liberia. Once you understand the import, the impact of this on the psychic that Dr. Burroughs is talking about, then now you will know how to treat others in society and help others to come up. There's a young man called Mr. And just before I end, you're talking about the crab mentality. There's a young man who used to be in a wheelchair, and I saw him in the streets of Monrovia. He used to work at the Capitol building, excellent typist, and they got rid of him. He was in a wheelchair. I saw him on the sidewalk one day, and I said, why are you sitting there? He said, well, I used to work at the Capitol, and the administration came in and moved me out. I said, you won't work for me, Howard Security? I was in private business now at that time. I'm going forward. He said, Director King, what can I do? Look at me in the wheelchair. I said, what you can do? I ask you a question. You want to work for Howard Security System? He laughed. He said, yes. I said, report to my office on Monday. He came into the office on Monday. I told him, I interviewed him. I saw that he was of value to Liberia, not of value to me, to value to Liberia. And I employed him, trained him, educated him in the areas of private security, and put a uniform on him. And he was in a wheelchair. He was a commander in my radio room. That's how you uplift people. So the mentality now, as you're asking, starts with you. Look in the mirror. You mentioned look in the mirror and see what you see. That's all I have to say for now. My other colleagues can chime in. I'm sure they have more to say, but I'm always part and parcel of a group.
Okay, thank you for that insight. I like the way that you try to look at the issue from the root cause. You're looking at the root causes of some of the deep-seated hatred and division that we have in our Liberian society today, stemming from the slave trade, from indigenous powerful chiefs selling their own people into slavery, and then some of the returned slaves coming back to and engaging in what we call indentured slavery.
Yes.
So that's the root cause. So, and I always tell people, in order to solve the problems that we have, we'll have to look at the problem. We have to look at it from the root causes. That's the only way we can enjoy sustainable peace and sustainable unity. That's another way to tackle this issue of crab mentality, the lack of unity within our society today. But let's hear from our man, Jacob Rowland, businessman Jacob Rowland. Jacob, what's holding us back as Liberians, as a group of people? What's really holding us back from collaborating, from working together and achieving collective success as a group?
Thank you very much. Apologies. I was just trying to do my setup and all of that.
So I don't want to go way back to 1847. Let me go back to, because there's a little saying that goes around, like my generation, our age kids, we feel some type of way that our parents wasn't there for us. A common example would be like, oh yeah, I never remember my mom telling me I love you, right? Because we grew up in that type of tough era. But then when I started retrospect those out there, did my grandma ever told my mom she loved her? So go back to our Liberian setting, right? We're looking at changes today. We want love, we want this. Then come and think about our generation today. Who raised us, right? During the time when it was raising us, there was 14 years lengthy civil war, where the war was all about segregation, no love, group by group. So that generation alone did not understand the substance of the value of unity, right? Now they raised us. That when they raised us, we didn't learn anything from them because they didn't know anything. You understand? Now, what makes you and I different today is the level of exposure that we had to travel out of the Liberia and see how other countries divine love for each other, how other countries how they call it. Then we trying to adapt to that. So there's a lot of factors around our society today that we can look into and be able to analyze how can we break that curse or how can we change that. And so I always say this to say that I want people who are exposed to what patriotism really is to start developing that by going back. That whole essence of segregation, tribalism, religion, let's just kick it aside because Liberia is the land. Liberia is what I mean. Thomas Saki, you and I talk lengthily. We talk about our sources. At the end of the day, what we talk about going back home. It's so sickening to me when I talk to some of my peers and they be like, "Oh, I'm never going back to that country." That stuff always break my heart. Like that's home.
That's home. Yes.
I don't care what Liberia goes through. I don't care how bad is it. That's home. So how can we really reinvent our mindset? Because, like I said, we wasn't raised or wasn't taught how to love. All we just thought about was that, oh, I'm better than him. Oh, he better than him. That's why today your platform, nobody really supporting it. I'm just saying nobody will support it because they feel a stomach sack or what he want to prove. My app, nobody gonna download the app or what he want to instead of you know, that's my brother right there. That's why whenever I get a call from you, I don't care, except I'm really busy. I don't, like the last time people and I talk, like I don't need to be shit. I don't need to be partnering. I just want that support system because guess what? If you if you stuff hit the fence on BBC, I'm pointing my hands to that. I say, yes, I know him.
Yes.
So go back to what we're saying from like Coach Kim was saying, go back to 1847. I appreciate that, but I would just go back to the 14 years of raising our generation, how there was so much hate and segregation between us that our generation today know nothing about what we call unity, love, nothing. It's just about I. So I think to break that curse is to reestablish that sense of togetherness, going back to schools, high schools, you know, teaching young kids, like what my brother was trying to say he was trying to do, but letting them understand the betterness of unity, how when we together, when we share love for each other, how best we can grow and how best we can be of success. Come example, the Fulham in Liberia. The Fulham is only successful in Liberia because they were the united. Not trying to be more united, but if you see a Fulham man, hey, other Fulham man shining shoe right to his social, I mean, that's a kick, get her from here because I'm a soul. No. But the unity of just making sure that I gotta help you, we have to reestablish that. For me, what really helped me was to reshape my mindset was when I went to Nigeria. Assuming if I was gonna be in Liberia, I'm not gonna say like, but I wasn't gonna understand the sense of unity. So yeah, uh, I just think like like what my brother Thomas Tamba was saying, right? I maybe his method of teaching patriotism may be wrong, but I just think that's the root cause of us elevating and growing into a different space. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you,
Okay,
Jacob.
Thomas, when Mr. Taco, when you finish with Mr. Bono, I won't come back to add something of a question for Mr. Roland to help qualify something.
Oh, very good. Okay, so Mr. Thomas Bondo, is making his debut appearance on our show tonight. Thomas is a youth activist in Liberia, a youth leader, and Thomas, he has been struggling with some technical issue, but he's back now. Thomas, welcome to 1847 Liberty. We are still having some issues back there. So, Mr. King, you can follow up, please. Let's
Okay,
proceed.
Mr. Roland, I like what you are saying, and the only issue I have with what you mentioned, when you say you don't want to go back to 1847, remember, we're not even going back to 1847. I was talking about before 1847, because slave trade took place there before 1847 in Liberia, well, in the era what is now Liberia. But what I want you to understand is, or to consider, the time frame when what you're talking about is true, that they don't know about certain responsibilities in life. But at the same time, those people the young people who came up at that time, and you want to educate them, they will think that this what they are learning never existed before. You see? And if you have people thinking, oh, what I'm learning now is so new and good, it never happened before, then you have a problem, because you are still carrying over misinformation and incomplete information into a present psychic, so to speak, that you want them to appreciate, oh, everything is good now, but before it wasn't. No, no, no. You had responsibility, you had love, you had responsibility, you had cooperation before the war. So my input is, most people that I talk to and that I listen to in the newspapers, or when you go somewhere and listen to talk, they always say, let's forget the past and move forward. No, you cannot forget the past if the past is inaccurate. You see, the past brings you to the present. Now, if you want to go to the future, you cannot go to the future with a distorted past. My input is always, let's find out what there was before, how it went through, how it got to the war situation, and how and why it has to be relearned, or should I say, learn again. I'm all for it, but I'm all for, you cannot put anything in the past away if the people who are thinking about the past have the wrong idea and the wrong information. Then they're carrying with them that's still negativity, in negativity of what happened in the past when it's wrong. We have to correct their understanding of the past, not change the past. No, no, no. You cannot change the past. The past cannot be changed. But your understanding of the past, what will give rise to a future, a more unified Liberia. To understand that all the different ethnic groups in Liberia came from somewhere else. And all of them brought with them their cultural movements. For example, and I would stop when I give you this one example. I would stop when I give you this one example. The Masaquas and the Famulas, they came from the northern part of Africa to the Ghanaian Empire when it was breaking up. And we moved down, and along the way, they conquered tribes along the way, and they took the women and other people with them. They didn't just move through the place, they captured and conquered tribes. And when they came down to what is now Cape Mount, Masada, they were tired and they sat there. And that's how they are said to come from Cape Mount. But how many people know that? How many people would be able to say, oh, I didn't know the vibe, the Famula and the Masaquas are not originally from Cape Mount, but they stayed there, settled, and they intermingle and intermarried. You see, so once you know the freedom man said, whose place should they come out? If you don't know whose place they come out, you be thief man. You see, once you know where you're coming from, then you will see how all of us as a unit in Liberia have all come from somewhere else. So that song about who owns Papa land, we want to know. Nobody owns Papa land. That's all I want to bring up, you see. The understanding the past for our future as a united people. Because once one person will say, oh, your people sold slave, and another one says, so say, wait a minute now. All of us, all our people in the past did something wrong. Let's get together now. Aha. Now we go forward. So anybody up bring up that talk again to sell someone in the street, to say let's no, don't start that. Don't start that kind of division in Mama Liberia. We go together. You see, then you have. So do you understand my approach, Mr. Roland? That was my only thing. I'm agreeing with you.
I do. I understand it. I understand. I mean, when I said that, I didn't mean to say disregard the past. It was just more like, our generation who raised us.
It's okay. Because remember, we're talking for other
Yeah,
people who
how
are listening.
today we struggle with exactly what the topic we discussed in unity and supportive
Right.
and all of that.
But
So
we're talking, people are listening.
yeah,
People are
my thought
listening to
process
you and me.
was it started from maybe it started like you said, it started from the past. Then the Civil War came and add on it. Then we hit with that,
Yeah,
that know nothing about what unity is about, know nothing about support
agree.
system, know nothing about how to be a patriot, how to like understand like Liberia's home, no matter what, how to come together. So that's just what I was saying. But I mean that's a good thanks for the shining our light. I would take that, and
Yes.
that's a good knowledge learned.
And remember, we are talking for other people. We are talking for other people listening outside,
Yeah.
or they are listening. So we always have to clarify something. They may not be able to call, so we can clarify those things. But I'm with you 100%.
No, that's
I'm
that's
with
that's
you
that's
100%.
that's true.
Okay, great exchange. Good historical context you provided. Thank you, Mr. King. It's always good to understand the past in order to know what to do today and how to plan for tomorrow. So history is really important. Okay, Thomas Tamba Bundu, youth activist from Liberia. What's your take? What's holding us back as a group of people? What's holding us back from uniting, from working together and realizing a collective progress?
So thank you again. It is a pleasant thing to be on the show for the very first time. And as Mr. King said, the past and the topic for tonight, just get it right. Correct tendency. If it is not you or if it is not me, it shouldn't be you. So many a time we always try to bring each other down, not coming together as one people, one nation, to her, to one destiny, as as it is inscribed on our national symbol. So I think that is just a literature, but it is not in actuality. So that's why we are suffering from common identity. So there's a saying: if you want to walk fast, walk alone. But if you want to go far, you have to walk together. Are we working together as a nation? No, I'm not saying that. So you lay the premise about Liberians in the diaspora, especially in America. I was just in the US like a few months back, and I was based in Chicago, in the city of Chicago. I was opportune to have lived in a black community among people from Cameroon and Nigeria. And like those people are really united. They are united in helping each other in every aspect. pet. They are attracted in the sense that soon you are identified as someone from Africa. They are finding way to help you out right away. The first thing, they don't want which part of Africa you are from. Whether you are Liberian, you are Nigerian, you are Ghanaian, but we're in that community. Once somebody introduce you, oh, this is our brother. We just arrived in the US. They are trying to find way out to help you. Are we doing that in Liberia? No. The first thing before we give a man a job and we know of a vacancy somewhere, we want to know about his county. After his county, we want to know his family, his origin. We want to start to dig behind him before we can help him. We are not thinking that this man is a Liberian. He's qualified. Once he's employed, the country will make progress. Not thinking that way. But we are coming from a different perspective, with a different ideology, and our country will move forward like that. As we are talking, we have to put aside that crap tendency and where a nationalistic
Thomas, let me interrupt you briefly. Sorry about that. But could you raise your voice a little bit? Can you amplify? Can you raise your volume? Maybe on your computer?
okay, thank you.
Yeah, we can barely hear you.
Thank you.
Yes.
O-
And we'll get
Okay,
back to
thank
you after this one,
you.
okay?
Good morning,
Now,
good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are around the world. Welcome to 1847 Liberty. We stream live from Minnesota, USA.
Okay, Thomas, I'll get right back to you, but let's progress. So this crab mentality often shows up as unnecessary contempt among Liberians. Instead of celebrating those who succeed and drawing inspiration from their success, many of us fall into what some call, or what I called, self-inflicted misery. Social comparison theory tells us that when we constantly measure ourselves against others, especially those doing better, envy naturally creeps in. Indian psychologists Moskan Gumber and Aditi Ashok Aro describe the crab mentality as finding comfort in other people's setbacks. In other people's setbacks. It might feel good for a moment, but it ultimately keeps everyone stuck. We're not going anywhere. So so can you break down, then this is for the panel, right? So how can you break down this crab mentality for us? What's really happening psychologically when people feel relieved at someone else's failure? Gentlemen.
Uh, you see, I like where we're going with this, Thomas, because a lot of time what I've noticed within we are good at complaining. We are good about, because sometimes I'm just like, we know the issue, fix it. How can you fix it? Because I feel like every Liberian and every politician, whatever, they always talk about the problem. I don't like that. It's already a problem. So I like where the conversation is going, like especially with the questions. Okay, we know, we like this. How can we fix it? And that's very tough, right? Because what I would say is that, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, our generation is doomed. You know, I think we have to go back to the root, right? Look at the next generation that coming after us, right? Let's look out from the kids from sixth grade and below. Because for me, is when the kid is young, the environment they grew up, that's how the mind is. That's why you see a lot of people would take their kids and send them to a good school rather than keeping them in a school that where he cut it. And a lot of time when you and I went to, some good schools and all that, but not all the cases, but majority of the cases of case studies. So for me, I will look at it to be like, since we know what the root cause is, since we know why you call, like what my brother Thomas is doing in Liberia right now, we need to engage with the young Liberians that's coming up. We need to have workshops. We need to have training. We need to engage in schools where we can just go there and speak to these young kids, teaching them what patriotism is, what love is, what differentiating that whole spirit of enviness. Meaning, if Thomas winning, it doesn't mean you can envy. You support him if because that's how you win together. Let it understand that the word team means winning together. When somebody say, "Come and be part of my team," is for you to make sure that person is not I. So let's break that curse, because all we know today, that's why corruption is so high in Liberia. If you open your company today, somebody you hire a Liberian there, he's not coming to go ahead with your vision. He's coming to take what's his and run away and leave you stranded. So how can we break that curse? It's just more like
Definitely.
is going there to be somebody. I'm going to support Thomas, because if Thomas win, we win, right? And I struggle with that, because when I had my business in my IT
Yeah.
firm in Liberia, that was one of my biggest struggle. Somebody will come to you crying that they need a job, that they haven't anything there. I would pitch my whole vision and idea to them, give them a job, say, listen, bro, let's lock in. This is you and I. If I win, we win together. You can be a manager, you can open sometimes you pay your whole dream to them. The moment that guy handle the first 200-300 that's not his, that he's supposed to end the car, he finished, it breaks my heart. Like, wow, I tell you, I was like this. But ideally, that's all what I meant thought about. All he thought about was me thinking about himself. So I feel like going back to the root cause and start training, like what is God doing, and start educating the young people and putting them in line and let them understand what unity is, understanding the love of, to reshape their mind. But for our generation, it would take I think it would take a government force, something that will really shape it. But I don't think even discussing it, because we hear that all the time. It's like we already know what the right thing to do, but we're not trained to do that. So we might agree with each other, but in our body, but a kid, it's easier to get a kid get along, that they can get used to that. That's my addition to that.
Thank you, Joseph. So, Mr. King, so how can we tackle this psychological problem of choosing self-inflicted misery is a term that I coined, over solidarity. So that means when someone is succeeding, instead of rallying around that person and helping them to even go further so that we can enjoy some of the spillover effect of their success, we tend to, resent that person who is making progress. How can we deal with this psychological problem, Mr. King?
Thank you very much, Mr. Rowland. I like what you said, and I'm going to piggyback off something that you mentioned earlier. What I do with my students that I teach presently, I teach them self-empowerment, and I'm a self-empowerment and transformational coach. You must first know who you are. In the Bible, it says, know thyself. In the Bible, it says, be renewed be changed by a renewal of your mind. Michael Jackson, in his song, Man in the Mirror, said, if you want to change the world, look in the mirror as who you should change first. In understanding who you are and understanding your purpose in this world, and understanding that you are, is amongst other things, a spiritual being who must grow in your shoes, you will then be able to understand other people. You will then be able to respect other people, because you are looking at yourself when you look at someone else. The Liberian youth, And I'm talking about the youth. I agree with Mr. Rowland. You can't do nothing with the adults. They're finished. But with the youth, you can prepare their mind to understand who they are. They are a person with strong inner strength to move themselves forward. But you can only move yourself forward if you know, physician, know thyself. You must understand who you are as an individual, as a powerful person, a powerful spiritual being that have an obligation to grow and learn how to contribute to your society, how to contribute to this world. Liberia was responsible for all the rest of Africa getting independent. All of us in Africa, Liberia gave South Africa passport for the freedom fighters to move around the world. It was Liberia. We have to understand that all countries have had their problem. All leaders have had their issues. But we have to look at the bigger picture and find out, who are we? Who are we? Once we develop an understanding of who we are, then we will be able to understand this crab mentality is not for us. Because in order for me to grow, I appreciated other people's success. When I think it was somewhere, Roland, when you said earlier, you were complimenting Mr. Roland about something. And Mr. Roland was being nice and saying, oh, no, no. If someone compliments you, thank you. Thank for that. Because it is you that bring out something that is important that they see in you.
Yes.
So it's not like we understand, well, thank you. And then when I was honored by the given an award recently last year, when they gave me this honor, when my response, I think I sent it to you, Mr. Sako.
Yes.
I said, thank you all, but I stand upon the shoulders of other great people beyond me. It's not me. I stood and learned from other people. And I thanked, there was a gentleman in the audience who was a member of the CID. And I thanked them for making me who I am today. A gentleman at the police academy, Mr. Peter Y. Wilson. He was from Loma. I respected the man so much. When he walked and talked, I just admired how he walked, and I wanted to be like him. So it's not a question of where someone is from, it's a question of the quality that they bring out in someone. And that's what inspired me. And I was taught and learned I must inspire others to look favorably at other people. So knowing who I am reduces my ability to be jealous of someone, but to help raise them up and to be proud of them. Because when you show proud and support for others, you grow. It is the natural law of life. You must grow.
Yes.
You see, you must grow. When you see something good in someone, you must praise them. When you see something good and when you see something that is wrong in someone and you know your position, you should not say, that man, good man. No, you must tell him in his face, what you're doing is not correct. But you can only do so if you know who you are.
Yes.
So knowing thyself is the first step towards reducing this crab mentality in our country.
Yes. So said, that was Socrates. Know thyself. If you don't understand where you're coming from, you will not know where you're going. You have no idea of your next steps. So that is really important. Mr. King, sorry. Okay, let's hear from you.
I've said everything. I've added to what Mr. Roland said, and for the next person, my colleague.
Thank you very much. Let's hear from the youth activist. Mr. Bondo, what's your take?
It's all, as Mr. King said, know yourself. It carry my back on the sermon that my pastor preached on today. He said you have to know your strength. If you move forward to succeed, you have to know your strength. Then also taking back what with the SWOT analysis in the NGO setting or in the social work setting, where you have to know your strength, your weakness, the opportunity, and the threat as well. So then, guess what we are all saying as a country, Liberia, we have to know ourselves. And that's why you see we have started to invest in the young people, not just ordinary young, but people, mostly we focus on people between 13 to 19, the teenager, because if we keep them in a current state that our nation is in without giving them different orientation, at the end of the day, Liberia will move nowhere. We still stagnated and with the same tendency that we are all talking against today. We won't go anywhere. All over. It is invest in your business, in politics. Like for instance, if I'm in opposition today, my entire propaganda against you will not be about the country moving forward. But I will sit back, fold my hands, and criticize you to the left when you feel at the end of the day to come to power and get a job.
Yes, yes, I agree.
Who really
I agree
feel the
with you.
peace?
I
It is
agree
the
with you,
common
Mr.
people.
Bono. Yeah, Mr. Bono. Yes, that's a good
It
point
is,
you make. Yeah, we see that in politics. Most of the people who criticize others that are in leadership are most of the time coming from a place of envy, to the extent that they'll criticize about every little thing. I was just talking to Mr. King
every little
today,
thing.
behind the scene. I was talking to Mr. King about some things that I noticed, in the president's recent remarks, right? And just some little technical, problem. So, as a patriotic citizen, somebody who really wants to see his president shine, because he's my president,
Yeah.
it's my country. So I should support those that are in leadership. So then I was talking to Mr. King, and I was like, I noticed some strategic communication blunder, because my background is in strategic communication. And how can I, pass on this advice to the people that are in power? And I think that's how we should support, we should approach people in power. It's not always about scoring
Yes.
some kind of political point, always going online
Yeah.
or on
Propaganda
airwaves
goes.
and trying to bring people down, because the people that are in leadership, they are not perfect. We fail to realize that. We need to be
Sure.
constructive, about our criticism, and we shouldn't just criticize people only because they're in a very enviable position that we ourselves would like to be in. And because we're not there, we want to do all we can to tear them down. So this is very important. But thank you for that input. Let's take this, and when we come back, we'll delve into this critical issue more.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are around the world. Welcome to 1847 Liberty. We stream live from Minnesota, USA.
Welcome back. So in Liberia, this mindset didn't appear out of nowhere, gentlemen. It is shaped by our unique history and the social pressures many people live under. Instead of being
Yeah.
by others' accomplishments, some people feel defeated. even resentful. Liberia's prolonged civil conflict fractured communities, created deep scarcity, and left many without a safety nest, a safety net, I would say. So, how did the war and its aftermath shape the way Liberians see one another's success? Gentlemen, how did the war, contribute to this crab mentality syndrome or problem?
You said success in a sense like success in the problem or success as in being better of the problem.
So we look at the factors that the war contributed a lot of factors, right? Because of the war, resources became scarce. A lot of people lost their safety net. They have nothing to depend on. We're experiencing extreme poverty. There's hardship. It's like you're in a group, right? And opportunities are scarce. Like you're in a class. Like when we were in high school, Jacob, we used to hope or wish for scholarship. We'll be applying on the internet to these schools overseas because they were very hard to come by, right? So one person among the group suddenly wins a scholarship to go abroad. Then everybody just become, frustrated that they didn't make it. But then instead of supporting their friend who made it, they, become miserable, what I call, self-inflicted misery,
Yeah.
taking it hard on themselves. So that's what I was talking about. So do you believe that the war and the scarcity of resources contribute to this problem in our country? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And just go back to what I said previously, right? Like I said, the Liberian War 14 years ago was all about segregation. Was never about unity. Was never about, it was just like I. So that selfish mentality, that selfish mindset shifted along the way as we grew into it, as we get older, we had kids into it, so that I mean, going back before the war, it was already there because that's what even brought the war. But speaking from the war, from the war itself, it just took a huge look into it, and like it had huge lump sum value on it, and just keep on carrying it on. Yeah. So everybody is like the me. I. If it's not me, then nobody. Common example, we're taking WIAC. Somebody who was very good at class, and when feeling WIAC, we celebrating the, oh, why? Oh, he used to be in class. Like he was the smartest one. He failed WIAC. They would laugh about it. But to us, that was normal thing. We didn't understand that. No, that's our brother. We're gonna go and leave him behind. We either come together and cancel instead of laughing at him. So like that's just how things have just become so normal in Liberia that people don't realize that this little jealousy that we just overlook is not supposed to be real, because sometimes that claiming to politics, like you said, politicians will just talk so negative about another politician, not because they hate that, but because they're not in that position. When you put them in that position, then they go silent. We see that happening from time in time, time and time. There is no love because everybody just looking for I. That's why me as an individual, I told myself I would never be part of any politician. I can be friends with the president. That's the most I'll be, but don't expect me to be a minister. Then because I'm trying to shift the whole mindset of like, yes, you can be successful being an entrepreneur, do your own business, build something. That's my way of giving back because I want to set that example that people can lead on. Like, don't call me to be a minister. Don't call me. Thank God I'm live. Don't call me to be a deputy minister. I'm not with that path. If the government has a project and they want a private entity to run it, I'm for it. But I don't want to be part of it because you want to set that example where to tomorrow when kids in high school looking at successful Liberians, because right now, well, successful Liberians, we're going to look at politicians. That's why everybody want to be politician. I want
Definitely.
scarcity of resources, and
Definitely.
because of because
Yeah,
the private sector is so weak. The economy
it's so
is
weak. So there's no
the
strength.
economy is fragile. Is not vibrant. Is struggling. So the only source of real employment or job security is the government, the public sector. So that too contributes to this problem. But let's hear from Mr. King. Earlier he was talking about the historical factor. But Mr. King, I want to know if I mean, do you think our history makes us more suspicious of those of us who are succeeding,
But
those
it's
of us
built
who make it in life? Yeah.
it's built into our psychic, as I said. It comes over in from the parent raising the other child. They're sitting down near the campfire, or they're sitting down in the house, and the little child is in the mother's arm, and the child is in the mother's arm, and the mother and the father or the people around there are talking against one person, against one tribe, talking this. They don't realize, and this is again why I go into this. Children who are young, everything you say around them, they take it in. It goes into their subconscious mind and stays there. So when you're talking about hate, conscious mind, this is what the average Liberian is not aware of. And so when it sits there, over years, he grows up from baby, he goes to first year, 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old. And the minute they hear a tribe, or the minute they hear someone talk about jealousy, choop, the mind brings up to the forefront that which they heard many years ago when they were children. And they
Yes.
hear
Social
something.
conditioning. Yes.
Yes.
Hmm.
So the environment is more important than
Environmental conditioning. Yeah,
the,
of course. That
the
too. Yep.
environment. So that's what
Hmm.
happens. So they grow up with it. So at what point in time are they corrected? What point in time are they corrected into their belief system? They're not. And it goes on into adulthood, so that when they meet up with someone who is well off, from a different tribe, from a different culture, background, whatever, he gets jealous. He doesn't know why, but he's just that negativity comes up because this is now understanding the human mind and understanding how people develop in developmental psychology. You learn about these things, you see. So now, so now the question is, how do you reach them to understand the effect of what they hear in the environment? And you can see this all the time. When someone develops and says something, you say, well, why that man not good, man. That man that he got his money, so you get jealous because I don't have it. What effort are you giving to the child to realize that he has to do something, move to make something?
Okay, Mr.
But
King
now
has a
maybe Mr. Bonner can go in.
yeah, there was a little glitch on your end, Mr. King. Sorry. Are you back on now,
Yes.
Mr. King? Okay.
Am
So
I still?
continue.
Yeah. No,
Yep.
I was saying that the effect of the environment on children is very, but Mr. Roland has already mentioned it. Mr. Bonner
Yes.
has already mentioned it. Look at the
Yes, you are
war.
right.
Look
You
at
are
the
right. Let's move on to another segment. So but let's take this first. Okay, so when opportunities become scarce, when opportunities are scarce, competition can turn toxic, gentlemen. I want you to know that. So we see envy toward the few who succeed, captured in that image of crabs in a bucket, each one pulling the others down as they try to climb up to the top. So Gentlemen, where do you see this crab mentality most clearly today? Could be in politics, workplaces, churches, or even within families. Where do you see this crab mentality the most, gentlemen?
All of the above.
All of the above.
I like that.
Definitely. But in a small family that to be united and go together, I think it is worse at some level, just within the family.
I think let me say this to you, right? Because right now, I mean, like just corporate America doing some training with the whole workplace uh training, and it just brought me some type of thought process. I think we can kind of shift that narrative, that mindset in the private sector, especially in the workplace environment in Liberia, by giving employees those training. You know how to give this training of how to treat somebody, how to act when you see something, what to
Soft.
do, what to report, what not to report, right? I feel like even with us in the corporate America, that helps when we do that training on a yearly basis. That's also helped us shift our mind, our focus on how to grow individual in a company. We don't need to go get too friendly with our boss and start saying negative things. Our work can show it.
Or workplace etiquette.
Yes, workplace ethic.
Okay.
So
Or
my
ethics.
yeah,
Ethics
workplace
in the
ethics. Yeah.
workplace. Ethics in the
So
workplace.
we,
Yeah.
I know we're not talking about fixing it, but it just kind of clicked to me. I'm like, how about when we start developing more like training manual where you know people who work in government sector, private sectors, and government making those things mandatory for every workplace, people taking those courses, maybe we help to shift our mindset a little bit. But going back to your question, where do we see that the most? If I'm
Mhm.
looking at stories that I hear from people, I would say workplace, because the most common thing we hear from people workplace is this person play wish on the person they had this job. And you can't be sick normally when you have a top job in Liberia. Somebody envy you. So it's always that, like even in your position, especially in the government sector, you're not at peace. Somebody will tell you, oh, close your work door because you know somebody trying to kill you. Don't leave your water open. Don't go to the bar. Because all this comes generation hatredness of envy. So even
Yeah.
when you mount to the top, you're still not certain if somebody come get you.
Okay.
And
Let's bring in Mr. Bondo quickly. Mr. Bondo, what's your take? Where do you see this kind of crowd mentality the most? The family, the church, the workplace, or where?
Yes, so basically, I would take the family. Charity begins at
Do you
home and in
you
the
have
abroad.
do you have
So
any
if you
case
come
study?
from a
Yeah,
united family,
Thomas, do you have any case study, any example that we can learn from,
yes,
or
I'm
that? Mhm.
yeah.
Sorry.
So
Hmm.
for instance, in Africa, in Liberia, a lot of people that you're interact with will tell you that family see competition want to compete with you at all costs. If it's from the family, maybe your cousin, your nieces, if their parents see you succeeding, they don't want you to succeed ahead of you. And everyone that we are talking about here, why is this that we are all Liberians, but we are all from family? So I believe that if you practice what we call unity, support from the family, then you will care to the larger society. If you love people in your family, when you go up there, you will love everyone that comes around you. You see the scrap within the
All right.
family,
Thank you.
people fighting for power, people fighting, people
Good
computing.
point.
If you go to the
Good point,
city that you
Thomas.
want to carry out, so
Yeah,
I
Mr.
see
King.
that in
Good
the
point,
family.
Thomas. Let's hear Mr. King so we can move on to the next segment. Uh, Mr.
You
King.
you mentioned about actual cases. Let me
Yes.
explain something, and I'm sure the rest of you will see where I'm going. When I
Okay.
had my company in Liberia, Hawaii Security System, I used to give my officers opportunity to take vacation. And I had about 500 plus security officers growing. that I employed in the private sector, I would say, y'all going for a weekend back to your village. I'm stating this outwardly, and I have officers here who can attest to what I'm saying. They will say, "Oh, Chief, we go there. We can't stay that long. Oh, the people are jealous of us. Oh, they're old family people. They say they're jealous of them." I said, "So you going up there? Some of them go up there, come back, they get sick. They say that somebody witched them." I am telling you what I know because I've been an employer of about 500 people in Liberia, 500 youth. And I'm going to say something again. You have, and I'm going to say something. I'm not going to mention the names purposely, but you have some of the quote progressives from way up in the interior during the last administration. Why they don't go back there? I know, and
I don't
they
know.
know.
I don't
If
know.
you go up there, what will happen? I'm not
Okay.
talking about going up there for one day visit, 2 days. I can go live there. I'm a Liberian man, and y'all know what I'm talking about. So I have case studies where I can bring other people who have worked with me who will tell you what they have been exposed to.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
that is
yeah,
what
and
I'm telling you. It happens.
yeah, I can relate to some of that. And for me, I think the workplace, because I've seen, not some personally and some directly and some indirectly, or personally, or just by observing. So,
Mr. Sako?
like in Liberia, we complain a lot about, youth empowerment, especially the young people of Liberia. They want young people to, have to have the opportunity to be able to serve, to be able to participate in the decision-making process of our country. And quite recently, or very recently, we see a very young lady who rising or ascending to the position of minister. And then, oh, there's a lot of hate. And most of the people who are protesting against this young lady becoming Minister of Youth and Sports do not know her personally, haven't read anything about this young lady before. They don't know her qualification, but they're just jealous. Why her and not them? So you see, so I think those are things that we need to celebrate. I'm one person who always advocate for fresh faces, in our leadership, our system, on our national scene. We want to see fresh faces. We want to see sharp minds, And when I see young people ascending to those positions, I'm inspired. And I think every Liberian should be.
Mr. Sako.
Yes. You wanted to come in, please.
Yes, I want to come in because Mr. Roland and Mr. Bundle, listen carefully, and Mr. Sako. All of us here agree with that statement and what's happening. The problem is the individuals who are being, in this case, whatever qualification she has, what has she done that relates to the position that she's being appointed to? It's like me being appointed, wanting to be appointed Assistant Minister of Justice for Rehabilitation, which is within the criminal justice system. Mr. Roland, you follow me? Mr. Sako? Mr.
Yeah, I have a point to come with that too when you're done. I mean,
yes.
Just to ask you a question.
I'm listening. I'm waiting for you to learn.
Now, I am not in the rehabilitation section. I have a criminal justice degree in law enforcement, criminal justice, which encompasses rehabilitation. But for me to accept that position, I would be doing an injustice to myself and to Liberia.
Yeah,
now, Minister, the former Assistant Minister of Justice, Christian Tarr, during the Talbot administration, She was in charge of rehabilitation because she was a qualified person in correctional administration. And the people that she had working with her, that is who should be there. You understand?
Okay.
So
Okay.
now, if I'm being appointed or want to be appointed in an area, I must know something and say something about what my services are when the people come to interview me. Not keep quiet and say, well, I got the job anyway because of who I know.
That's one point. That's one
That's
valid
a
point to
point.
make. But
Can I-
Jacob, just before you come in, Jacob, let me just address what. Let me just respond to
Yeah,
what
go on.
Mr. King stated. Yes, qualification matters, but the question here is, do we know the qualification of this young lady? Do
No.
most of the people who are causing noise about her know her actual qualification? No,
No.
they don't know. Are they trying to find out what her qualifications are? No, they're just following the bandwagon, because
Quite
of
correct.
envy. In
Quite
most
correct.
cases, envy.
But why doesn't she come out and let the public know who they are going to be getting?
Of course, she's gonna come out. She has a confirmation hearing.
No,
And
that's
those
not the confirmation hearing. They
No, the
shouldn't get a
confirmation.
confirmation hearing. It should be in the interview she should have should be from newspaper people who come to her and ask questions about who and what her background is, irrespective.
But Mr. King, in all fairness, I haven't seen any journalist or reporter trying to interview this young lady, and she was
And she
there,
said no.
and she refused to provide the information, and she was
I concur.
not forthcoming. So let's
I
be
accept.
fair. Let's be
I
fair,
accept.
Let me step a little bit.
Yeah,
I bow to it. I accept.
Jacob, very quickly, okay? I like to be very fair when these things are happening. I have no stake in any of the parties in the country, right? But we have to be fair, man. Like,
right.
This young lady has just been appointed. Some people do not even know anything. I listened to one guy saying something that made some sense. He said that this young lady has a father. Her father is a minister of one of the ministries in Liberia. I'm not sure. I think they labor or some other place. And then why is she becoming minister too? That's one question. There's precedent for that. We have seen relatives, people of the same family in government before.
Yeah.
In Liberia, in the United States, we saw it in the Kennedy administration. His brother was attorney general. Was he qualified? Overly qualified. Very well qualified.
Yeah.
So the question should be about merit. And you haven't asked the questions yet. You don't know anything about the situation. Why rush to conclusion? And the only motivation here is, Mr. King, envy. And Jacob, please come in. Let's hear Jacob.
No, like, the thing is, what people don't understand, right? The individual, I don't know, you guys never called him, but the individual president, she's been around long time ago, during early time. She's been in government from, well, I say been in government, not involved into like being a minister, but like she's been into like NGOs programs that support initiatives, like she's been working like this. Let's forget about her family root or what her connection with the current, I call it. She's been there. When we were young, little, she used to be that girl that we used to see going to meet the president, holding mic, having events and stuff like that. So
she was a youth activist.
Yeah, my thing is, giving that position doesn't require a sportsmanship. It requires leadership.
Yes.
Somebody who understands administrative roles and position.
Yes.
So I don't understand why people are going there and protesting. Oh, she didn't play soccer. I'm just giving her. She didn't play football. But, it has
that's really funny. That's really funny because youth and sports, the requirements for becoming youth and sports minister has nothing to do with you playing soccer. So you see, that's the mindset problem we have. That's the understanding problem that we have as a group of people. So we the way we perceive things is really troubling. Like you don't necessarily have to play soccer. Youth and sports is not all about soccer or basketball.
Correct.
Okay, No, it encompasses a whole lot of different disciplines. Okay,
So what
it's a
discipline
youth
has she
development.
had?
Youth
So
development and sports is just a part of it. So you don't necessarily have to have experience in sports management or play sports. No,
right.
and I even heard that this young lady, uh, after having spent many years in youth leadership roles, she has a law degree as well. She went to the law school. She's very educated, and she also served as I think deputy for a deputy minister for Ministry of State and Presidential Affairs. I stand to be corrected. If I'm not, somebody can correct me. And for 2 years. So I haven't seen an entire resume, but I will not see that. I don't even hear that she has been a deputy minister for 2 years. That's enough experience to become minister proper, and looking at the advanced degree, law degree, and then her role in youth leadership. So it aligns with the framework, okay, of the youth and sports ministry.
Okay.
So why are we?
Maybe they should highlight, maybe someone, and I should say no journalist interview, but they should highlight her role in the youth development era. What has she done in that era as well? You can have a law degree, a master's degree, whatever, but is a law degree necessary for the position?
It's not necessary, but
okay, so
we're talking about qualification. If somebody can reach to the level of attaining or acquiring a law degree, that person is educated. So
in one particular era, not
one particular era. As I learned, she was in leadership, and we are yet to get more.
I'm from the technical. Yeah. I'm from the technical background. I believe in experience, right? And being leadership, in as much as education is key, which is already obtained a law degree, but also being in a position of being a leader explains a lot about who you are as an individual. Okay. So if we want to judge her, let's judge her on what type of organization she ran, and during that time, what happened to the organization, what is the source of the organization. I feel like that's how we can maybe criticize if we want to criticize or not criticize. Yes. So I'm yet to see anything yet,
Yes. Yeah, and it is really troubling because most of the people on the other side of the political divide who are causing noise about this situation saw in the past regime, we had a lot of people in top positions who qualifications are still have question mark too. We had a lot of people. But when it is not in their interest, they will be so critical. They will criticize every little thing. But gentlemen, we have to move on. Let's take this, and when we come back, we'll just delve into the topic even more.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, from wherever you are around the world. Welcome to 1847 Liberty. We stream live from Minnesota, USA.
Yes, Mr. King wanted to ask a question before we took our break.
No, I was asking, when are we going to take some questions from the listening audience? Do you have?
We'll get there. We have a segment. We have a segment for that. Right. Yep. Yeah. So at its core, the crab mentality is, and if I can't have it, neither can you attitude. So we see it in workplaces, social groups, and communities where envy stops people from building something bigger together. Yes. It prevents that, collective growth that I talked about earlier. So now, gentlemen, how do you recognize this mindset when you're working with groups on the ground, and what are some early warning signs that a community is slipping into it? Gentlemen, let me hear your experiences.
I mean, I don't want to sound redundant because I feel like a lot of the questions it still go back to the same Genesis answers that we given, right?
Mhm.
And on the early stage, just go back to school. Go back to
We lost we lost Jacob. Mr. King, what's your take?
Oh no, I will wait for Mr. Jacob first because I want
He
to
is
hear him
completely out of the studio, sir.
completely.
We'll take this
Okay,
one, and
I'm
okay, here
sorry.
he comes.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I just so yeah, I just think the early stage of recognizing this is just more like being around people. For me as a friend, I just look at it as if I tell you good news about me, I
Mhm.
just want a higher reaction is, and then that says a lot about who you are as a person or what friend you are. And sometimes you might not even know the right way to do it. Sometimes I correct you. I'm like, I told you I got a promotion. The first thing you would say, you ask me, well, what the job title is. Oh, it's a manager position. Okay. How you not mess that job up? So people now, I'm like, so it's just like those little comment where you should be like celebrating my happening. The first thing that you had to say, well, I hope you don't mess it up. And so that means your mindset about me was already negative before I even told you something positive. So two things I can do I can, as a friend, I'm gonna correct you. I'm like, we don't have to think like this. This is something I think that you could be excited for me, right? We pray about everything later on. You can come back and say, my man, keep that job up, and make sure you do well, that you can mess it up. I say in a way that but the way you said it, it sounds like a hit. But if you're a good friend, you recognize that was just an early, but if you're a bad friend, when you become very defensive, then I just know who you are. It tells me a lot. So this is some early stage you can kind of recognize people around you from work, school, just sometimes just make up. Sometimes I intend to make up good stories and just tell you to see how you take it, or bad stories and see how you're gonna carry it. That just said, but again, I feel like a lot of people don't know how to be nice, even though they hear it. But sometimes it like if you honest with them and tell them, say you did this to me, I didn't like it, but this is how a better way to do it. As a human being, mistakes are meant to be. So when they take that in, that's a good person. They just didn't know how to react to the situation. If they don't take it in, that means they were never there from the beginning. But that's what I would say.
Yes, Mr. King.
Well, normally when I'm interviewing the youth that I work with, I ask them a question. I give them a case scenario. I give them a particular example of someone in the community. And I look at the newspaper and I say, tell me what you're feeling about this person or this action or whatever we see here. And I'm looking at their critical thinking process. How are they viewing and arriving at their decision? I'm not concerned about telling them what to think. I'm concerned about telling them how to think, how to arrive at their decision, whether it's agreeing or not. Whatever decision they arrive at, it must be done critically with a systematic decision so they can stand up and support them and support their decision instead of wavering with the whim and caprice of other people, or let me agree with this other person because he's from my same tribe, or let me agree with this person because he's in the party or whatever. I try to listen to how they think, and that's where I can find that their thinking process is off. They don't know how to listen, they don't know how to verify, and they definitely don't know. I'm saying not everybody, but the majority of the youth don't know how to question someone. And when you mention, Mr. Sako, that the government wants young people to come in,
No, not the government per se, not the government per se.
society.
Mr. King, I'd like to correct. I'd like
I'm
to,
sorry.
yeah, not the government per se, but people in general,
Yeah,
young
people in
people
general.
advocate for
No.
equal representation.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
and when they
Thank you
see
very much.
their peers making it up to
Yes,
the top, then they become resentful or envious.
yes. Thank you very much
Yes.
for correcting that. Thank you. The
Mhm.
general population wants to see young people, but the young people have they been prepared to come into a position that requires responsibility. Just because a person is young, it doesn't mean, oh, he's a youth member, let's bring him in. Is he
A good
prepared?
number of them are prepared.
But then where are they?
They are around. Some of them
But
are
then we
in
should
some of
choose
them
them.
are in leadership positions. I know a lot of them. There's one sitting right on this panel. His name is Jacob Rowland.
Oh, but yeah,
He just launched a fintech company that has the potential to employ thousands of people in the future.
that's right. No, but
Yes,
that's
a lot of young
fantastic.
people are doing well.
No,
Yes.
but
We can
like I
say-
said, we that travel kind of want to break the curse
Here's
because
an
it's,
exception. I'm talking about those people who want to bring people in just because they're a youth. And when you check their background and qualifications, they don't have the experience as yet to understand the
true.
ramification of the society in which they're coming into.
Yeah,
And
that
I'm
is true
saying-
for some. That is true for some people,
And I
of
agree.
course. Yes. Mhm.
I agree. So that's how I am able to determine when I'm talking to the youth members and how their thinking process is worked on. And then therefore I show them, I say, look, let's look at this consideration. Have you considered this? Have you considered that? Have you considered the other? Have you done your research? Well, no, but then how can you make an informed decision that's going to affect other people's lives and perhaps your own children's lives?
Yeah,
That's
I
my
mean, yeah, you
thing.
have a point. You
That's
have
all.
a point. You have a point, Mr. King. Yeah, there are some people who are not prepared for anything but complain to have opportunities. Like
Yeah.
you have to prepare yourself so that you can rise to the occasion when
Correct.
opportunity knocks at your door. When I mentor young people, I always stress that as an important, factor. You have to be ready. You have to be ready so that when opportunity knocks, you're ready to rise to your occasion. Yeah. So,
I agree.
yes. Yeah. So, as a conscious Liberian who is committed to a more united and prosperous nation, I've been especially troubled by the ongoing immigration crackdown in the US and how our people are reacting to it. Now, according to a report from the Embassy of the Republic of Liberia in the United States, the government is very concerned about people sharing lists of alleged deportees from unofficial sources. That behavior points to something deeper. How envy and collective shame can erode group solidarity. On social media, we now see some Liberians openly wishing for the US government to deport friends and relatives who don't send money home. This expectation that anyone who immigrates to a prosperous nation automatically owes financial support to those that are left behind or left home reveals a culture of entitlement. Now let's talk about entitlement. So, guys, from where you sit, how are these immigration crackdowns and reactions to them affecting trust within Liberian communities abroad and back home? Gentlemen.
Mr. Roland.
I'm just laughing because our I was just saying, our people can better. It's like that's why I left Facebook. They can amaze us because sometimes when you see the reason they're on live, the reason they're on conversation, talking about what's going on and all that, and you see people like celebrating of somebody else's downfall, like what's there to celebrate about, right? And the ownership of the mindset of you in America, that means you're responsible for somebody. It's completely like my friends. I would tell you, I grew up in the streets of Monrovia. I'm a town hall Jacob Rowland boy. Everybody know Jake from up Duco all the way to AW Junction. I got friends. They call me, oh Jake, can I tell them straight up? I'm like, why are you? I like when I'm most of the time, yo, don't call me asking for money. I'm not gonna put food on your table. It doesn't mean I'm mean. I'm not gonna like if you come to me with an idea that you want us to build, I'm there for you. If you have a medical condition to the point where it's very serious, I'll be there for you. But you calling me now, you late on your rent, you don't have money for your kids' school fee, bro. That's why you're a man. Because that's the definition, man. I'm not gonna make you lazy. I understand the economy is tough. I understand Liberia is hard, but my mindset, if other people can make it, you can make it. I wasn't Liberia. I didn't have. You know my story. You understand what I mean? So I get it, but I still made food for myself. So don't depend on me because I'm just here struggling. So that mindset is hard to change. I got friends who understood where I stood with them and we're still friends. I have friends who were like, oh, because you feed in America now, so you're better than us. I was like, no, I didn't say that. I just told you I can't help you to buy your BA. I can't do that. I'm not able to do that. I just need to understand that. But it's tough because now, like you just said, you give a nice example. They give an example. All of you guys thinking they need that one person pass everybody mad way. And, it's like coming to America. Or we all go to the embassy for interview. I got my interview. Now you already thinking like I'm better than you because I got visa. But you didn't understand how I got it or what I got it. So at the end of the day, that mindset is tough to change. You can't change it. I'm not gonna lie to you, especially for grown older people. All you can do is just to be yourself and give back how you can give back. And them on social media celebrating another for happiness is not gonna benefit you regardless whether they stay in America or whether they deport them back to Liberia. There's no benefit for you.
Jac-
So
Jacob, has any friend in Liberia stopped talking to you because you refused to give them a favor that they requested?
I won't say stop talking to me, but just stop being cool with me. Say hi and bye, but like that body is not there. But I don't blame them because I was trying to set them up for a better favor. And someone that will even come to me with like, oh, I got a business idea. I'm like, I'm not dumb. I'm not just going to take money and give it to you. And, if you have a business idea, I'm going to send somebody over to you. You and that person are going to go register the business together. You're going to do everything together. But why you gotta bring another person? I said because that's business. If me you end up business. I gotta bring somebody to represent me, not because you're my friend. And once you put that into that projection into play, you already know that mindset wasn't about business. It was just about to take your money from you. And so
Yes,
I don't
thank
really
you.
have nobody in Liberia, but I just put that and see how you think, how you're gonna respond to it.
Thank you, Jake. Mr. King?
I go
Has,
along with what Mr. Jake says.
okay,
There's
perfect.
nothing for me to add. He's perfectly
Per-
correct.
Perfect. Yes, perfect.
Perfectly correct.
So it is. I'm using this word too much today. Troubling the way we behave. Like uh, the U.S. embassy here in the U.S. in the Liberian embassy in the U.S. in Washington was even concerned. Like there are some people, not just in Liberia, but right here in the U.S. Maybe they have some beef with their friends or family members, and when they see that that person's name appears on a list for deportation, they're just so excited. And they're just getting these lists from unofficial sites and posting, which is really not, okay. Like some of the lists that I saw that were being posted are not even people who are on deportation lists. These are they gather those from maybe the crime website. There are some county jails that if you go on a website, you'll see people, you'll see a directory of inmates, convicted felons or criminals. So the fact that people would be so happy spreading those kind of like it baffles me. I don't know why we take pleasure in that, in seeing other people fall. It is really troubling. We need to really reorient the way we think, the way we treat each other. If we don't, as a group, we will always lag behind other groups other group of people that prioritize. Yes, I'm sorry. There was a
Right.
glitch on my end here, but I corrected it quickly. Again, I'm sorry, gentlemen. So yeah, so let's move on. A 2023 article on Liberian refugee. A 2023 article on Liberian refugee experiences points out that while deep social ties are control to our community, are central to our community, I beg your pardon, the emotional and practical challenges people face, like the indignity of being asked to leave the country after decades living here, can fuel resentment and division. If entitlement is partly an economic and social problem, then how can we start to reframe it? Can tools like rotating savings clubs or macro loans turn those expectations into something that actually builds people up instead of tearing relationships down? Even if, and when I say susu clubs or saving clubs or macro loans, that's when people like Jacob Rowland comes in with his Safe Circle Capital platform. Okay, so even with all these challenges, there are powerful success stories in recent years. And I always, and Mr. King and Jacob, I always say this: for me, it is not about talking about the problem, diagnosing the problem. It is also, and most importantly, is about finding solutions to the problem. And that's what we are about on this show. Okay, so in recent years, some Liberian communities have embraced cooperative farming, pooling land, sharing tools, and splitting profits, farmers in the rural areas, through some NGO programs. These efforts have improved livelihoods and strengthened community bonds. Leaders like B. Abel Lirowelli, founder of Camp for Peace Liberia, show how collaboration can demonstrate resilience and a real willingness to work together for positive change. So, from your experience, gentlemen, what are some grassroots projects like cooperative farming or peace building initiatives that are actually working and can be scaled up? Mr. King, I know you are involved with a lot of youth groups back home. Can you comment on that? And it's so sad
That's
that
okay. I'm here.
Mr. Bondu, yeah, Mr. Bondu wasn't here. Okay, Mr. King, yes.
Well, I would like to get say for Mr. Rowland, if he's involved in type of programs like this,
Mm-hmm.
I would like to get him to become a part and parcel of the work that I do with the youth, to let them know what else they can get involved in. Because actually, just today, I was thinking about in my presentation, then what else can I say to these youth members about getting involved in business of some sort? And I'm so happy that I've met Mr. Rowland. I've often asked this question, and I can prepare the youth mindset. I can prepare the mindset for people like you who have can talk to them about ideas that they can begin thinking about getting into private business, and how a person with your professional background can assist them. Okay, this is what I would like to do, and this is what I feel that more and more organizations can be, if you can share your website, I can pass it on to people in my village, like I did with Thomas program to people in my village, so they can begin to contact you. You see, for them to engage in self-employment or engage in some profitable business. You will have the way and manner to even, I've even encouraged them to go to the local chamber of commerce to talk to some of the people there about businesses. But I think a program such as what you have could benefit them, to talk directly to them. What do you think, Mr. Roland?
Oh, I
Mr.
think
Taco,
I
do
think
you think?
I think it's a good. I think it's a good initiative. Sorry, I have another 5:30 meeting I have to jump to, but I would just speak to this point because I know that was one of the main reasons I was here. So I've been involved in building businesses back home. Right, I had a business there back then called Pick Me Tech. We was a IT firm that was specified. I mean, that was particularly specialized in building uh software. So we would just want to go digital and just try to relinquish the mindset of paper and more or less build databases, applications that run on the internet for government institutions and stuff like that, which was very great. But then it didn't survive due to the change of regime and the lack of potential contract that was expecting.
Government.
However, coming back to what we do right now with Safe Circle Capital, or Safe Circle Capital was funded because I saw a problem in the diaspora that Susu has been our traditional method of saving, and that has worked from generation to generation. That was even go back to even in America when the Jamaicans moved to Queens when they wasn't allowed to say open a bank account. The method
Mhm.
of rotational saving was how the community used to come together and be able to save money. So the
Correct.
Western society that they haven't adapted to that because why it was a more of a traditional way of unity
Mhm.
and understanding of how their culture, the environment today is built in diaspora, they don't really push unity like that, especially in America, right? So you realize Susu Meta hasn't really been modernized. It's still here. So that's when we came in, and I'm like, hey, why can we uplift Susu and give it a digital presence where people make it more like an app where we can create a platform where if you're in Minnesota, of Philadelphia, we can still be in Susu and have it on a platform that run it automatically, and that's how we develop Safe Circle Capital. And unfortunately,
May I input 1 quick second, sir? It's
okay,
important. It's important.
okay,
You mentioned the Susu. There was an article, and I'm mentioning this so you can clarify it for the listeners. There was an article in the newspaper, Liberian Front Page Africa, about Susu being fraudulent.
S-
It's in the Liberian newspaper. So
that's
that's why I want to mention to you
that's
to
good.
bring that up in case people who are listening, please.
Yeah, that's
Have
good.
you read it?
So
Did you read
yes,
about it?
I didn't read about it, but I heard about it. And again, there's a lot of rumors around that too that
Yes.
comes about. So we want to be very straight and clear, and for the audience that are listening, right?
Yes.
The mindset of, I mean, the concept of Susu, it runs with a trusted friend and cycle. It's not random. If I'm running Susu, I invite people who I trust, who I know are capable enough to generate that weekly fund. That's where it comes when you just trusting somebody based on what you know. Now, with Safe Circle Capital, we do not run a Susu for you. We're not encouraging people to come and join a Susu group or because Hex was in no. We like it's like we are tools. Now, if you and your family want to run a Susu, and you want to make it more easy that you don't have to chase behind anybody, you can use our platform to run your susu. It's almost like a shovel,
Yeah.
right? You go to the marriage, shovel is a tool, but to dig up the snow, you use it to dig up the snow. Now, what you use the shovel for is your business. So, our platform, right, do not have the potential of bringing people into your group bringing this other person randomly or taking protocol. No, it's a tools that you can use and you and your family member can use that can help you automate everything. For example, when the payment is due, we automate that. We link your bank account. If you say, okay, the payment should come every Friday, the app helps you to automatically go in individual account, withdraw that money, and if you tell the app, say, okay, this person is supposed to collect the money first, the app will automatically deposit that money in that person's account. So we don't hold money for nobody. We don't collect money. It's just a tool that you use to run your sister group. And
So
that's a key question, and I really I like that.
that's good. Well, thank you for that, because maybe, and I'm saying so maybe because I'm also a person with ideas and all that, but I throw out ideas for maybe you could come up. Don't just say no right away, but maybe you could come up with some sort of a procedure, rules, recommendations for people who want to get involved with it, and teach them, instruct them more on, I don't know, but maybe your organization could become involved in some aspect of it,
Financial literacy.
some aspect of it for people who want to do business like that, and they need someone with some reputational background, someone like you who have a business. And I don't know, it's just a thought process for you to play around with. That's all.
I
That,
mean, I I, I love how you think. I know you go in, and that's great. And
because you know
if, if you remember my out at the beginning of this conversation when I was talking with friend of me and Thomas, I'm like, where our head is Liberia, where we want to be
yeah.
sitting in Liberia. So everything we're doing in the diaspora today is a roadmap that leads us back home.
and
So
and and Mr.
getting
Roland,
back is very key to us.
Mr. Roland,
Yeah.
also by you, let me come in, Mr. Sako. There's a thought process come. I was, as you can look on the on those companies from China, they're making enclosed three-wheel vehicles that has covers on it, selling for probably $5,000 or something like that. But anyway, some sort of business like that. If you could get in a group of people into a susu concept, again, this is for you now to play around with, not for me, but for them to get into a business like that and say, we can go into the transportation business, a properly covered vehicle, or some sort of equipment that their susu can bring in some income for maybe 6 persons. So you are carrying the susu concept to a different level, whereby they can become involved in business. So they're not gonna, yeah, they can have the money pull in, but that money is going towards purchasing of this equipment, this transportation equipment, that they can start one transportation service. And I mean, I don't know. Anyway, just thought process.
Okay, gentlemen. Okay, gentlemen. I like how you're talking more about the practical part. So, what can we do? I would like to build on what you
But I
have
got
been talking
I have
about.
to
Let me
You got
build
to
on
go.
it. Yeah, let me. Yeah,
You got
okay,
to go.
okay, Jacob. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
what
you
you
for your
again,
input.
Jacob? I need to
yeah,
come
yeah.
right
Come
back
on,
to
you
you.
share my information with Mr. King.
No problem. Thank you, my brother.
Please,
All right.
We appreciate you for
love it.
your
I love the
time.
conversation. Thank you.
All right. All right, that's Jacob Rowland, founder of Safe Circle Capital. So, Mr. King, what can we do practically starting right now? And I like the discussion that you and Mr. Rowland had about
Yeah.
some of the practical steps. So now, one idea is to organize community meetings that launch a savings club using platforms such as Safe Circle Capital, founded by my good friend Jacob Rowland,
Yeah.
who is currently based in Rhode Island. So these meetings can bring people together
Yes.
to share ideas, agree on rules, and build accountability.
Yep.
Now, if a community watching us tonight wants to start a savings club or cooperative, what are the first 3 concrete steps they should take tomorrow morning. So it's regrettably Jacob left, but he he could have provided some real insight. But Mr. King, well, what do you think? You're already into it.
Well,
Yeah.
again, whatever
Mhm.
input I want to give, it would not be as
Mhm.
with quality as Mr. Roland would, Mr.
Yes.
Jacob.
Mhm.
It will not be. I like to stay in my lane. So
Yes.
other
Mhm.
people who have, but what my thinking process would be for my group of people, as an example, when I meet with my group of graduates, which would be probably about 70, maybe 75 graduates so far, students, they have always been asking me about business ventures, business, business, business. This is when I can pass the information over to them and find out from my group who are still involved in business, who wants to do business. And then I would talk to them about going into their community because they know me and I know them. And I can talk to them. They can carry this information into their community and find out again people there who would like to get involved in this type of safe type business that Mr. Jacob is in. And because that one person can start, I like to start with someone who I'm aware of and who knows me and who's been wanting to get involved in business. Let him go into this community, meet people, get people talking, and then he would have already been hooked up with, I would hook him up with, in fact, before we go to the community, I will hook him up with Mr. Jacob and then
Very
let them talk.
Very good.
That's what I would do. I'm not
Very
going
good.
any further because that's not my expertise. My
Yes.
expertise is to prepare the youth for people
Yes,
like
sir.
Mr. Jacob.
Yes, and
Thank you,
that's
sir.
why, yeah, and that's why I even invited a youth leader who
Where
was
is he,
on earlier.
Mr.
Yeah,
Bonner?
because this topic is really important. I mean, the solution part is important.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can sit and criticize all
Yes.
year, but if we don't provide or suggest solutions, then what are we doing? We're not doing our country any justice, right? We're not doing our country justice. But when we look honestly at our community, we see how a single act of assistance can turn into an ongoing expectation. Over time, that expectation becomes entitlement. Demands grow, frustration rises, and relationships break down. So, in one sentence, since the rest of the panelists are not here anymore, but how can we, Mr. King? I'm not gonna box you into one sentence, but how can we as a community start to change this pattern? Cultivating gratitude, mutual support, and a healthier balance between giving and receiving. Yes, so Mr. King, yes, so to just summarize everything we've been talking about, we look at the small-mindedness, we look at the envy, the crowd mentality, and then we also talked about entitlement. When you're giving to someone regularly and then you stop giving because of some problem that you have in your personal life, then they start to resent you. So how can we break this cycle? How can we really move forward as a community?
Two things.
Yes, sir.
One is a book by Madame Olubanke King Akerele on breaking the cycle of this thought process in Liberia. She wrote a book about this, breaking the cycle. That's one. And I'm not going to go into that. The second one is what I am associated with, and that is teach one, and that one teaches the other.
Yeah, each one teach one.
Each one teach one. That's the
and
way
that was written by former Foreign Minister Olubanke King Akerele, right?
No, the first book is breaking the cycle.
Breaking the cycle by
impunity in our country. Impunity takes into that what you've mentioned about this entitlement. That's the
Entitlement.
first one. The
Mm-hmm.
second one is what I'm talking about and what I'm
Mm-hmm.
more familiar with, and that is teach one, what?
Each one teach one.
Each one teach one. And this is what I've been doing to my group. In other words, whatever opportunity you have, speak to youth clubs, speak to youth environment, go in and talk to them about this entitlement quote issue. Talk to them about uplifting the society. This is what we should be doing. They have other speakers in Liberia who are motivational speakers, but they don't get themselves out there to be known. I've been pulling them out one by one, you see. So each one teach one. That's how we're going to get it to the youth. I cannot deal with the adults because this I just can't make it. I'm only dealing with the youth for tomorrow because they are the future of Mama Liberia. So you have to prepare them now for leadership. Leadership in public and private. Public and private, not necessarily government, but the quality of leadership to understand that they have to lift up the other people. This is how I tell them. I say to them, if you have a teacher that is not wanting you to be more than they are, something's wrong. I tell all my students, I want them to be more than me. I want them to be better than me, not like me. I want them to be better than me. So I instill this type of concept in them and respect in them so that when they reach the level of responsibility, they will then be able to understand, hopefully, what Coach King told us a long time ago. Improve the other person to be better than they are. Once you do this, you got it made. Then you're not threatened because life, God will always make you and protect you when you're uplifting someone else. So when you uplift someone else, God will uplift you in ways that you don't and cannot imagine. He will uplift you and only give you what is necessary for you to do his work. That's why I said you must know who you are and what your purpose is in this life. The minute you do that, you got it. Everything will come to you. Once you do God's work, after that, he will do what is necessary for you.
Spot on, Mr. King.
That's it.
Good job. Okay, so as we wrap up today, I want to bring on our welcome our viewers on the show, welcome their participation. So I want our viewers to think about this. What does it look like in your own life to support others without envy and to receive help with gratitude instead of entitlement? That might be where unity and collective growth truly begin. So let's hear from our listeners, our followers. I think we have some comments here
Good.
that have been coming in. So we have Joseph. I'm going to put them on the screen, by the way. So we have Joseph Sacker, who says that he's following from New Georgia community, New Georgia Old Field community. That's Mr. Joseph Sacker. Thank you for letting us know where you are following from. Another gentleman.
Questions?
Yeah, no, I'm looking for the questions now.
Oh.
So another gentleman is River Says Pro. That's his name. Maybe it's an ally. So you cannot transform envy into unity if you think everyone hates you. Yeah, that's what Mr. River Says Pro. And then he has a question. There is a question here. He says, are they really jealous? He's talking about some people. Or they think people are jealous. Or could it just be mind playing? I don't know how he putting out the question, but I don't know how to respond. Yes. So there is no,
I don't know, but I would just like to,
Mhm.
I would just like to mention something here, please, if I
Okay.
may.
All right, please.
I don't understand the question, but I'm piecing these things together from what he is putting out here.
Okay.
And it goes back to when he says, one, you cannot change a person from point A to point B. That
Mm-hmm.
word cannot is restrictive. When you say you cannot, you are saying that no success is possible. And this is contrary to the concept of positive thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Positive thinking meaning there's always another way. There's always ways to get something It may not necessarily be one way, but by you understanding the issues at hand, you can come upon that situation to change it. Let's put it this way. We are not, and I'm being very careful on this. You do not want to change someone
Mm-hmm.
else, but you want the environment to you want the environment to change. You want them to change their perspective of the environment.
Yes.
You see, you're not changing the environment, but you want their perspective to be changed. And once you look at their perspective and show them how to look at it from a different point of view, then the problem no longer becomes a problem.
Yes, I agree. Breaking,
Unless,
rising above the crab mentality. This has been,
yes,
yes. Uh-huh. Yes, please, please. I
no. That was only because we couldn't piece and find out exactly what his question was. But I was just
yes.
piecing those comments that he made. That's
Mhm.
all, for some
Uh,
semblance of order.
okay, so let me see if we have any more comments. Viewers, if you have any comments or questions, please send them in before we close. Mr. King here
That's
uh,
right.
is standing by to respond to your comments and questions. Okay, so nothing new. So
Nothing.
yep. So we'll go ahead and call it a day, Mr. King. So as it has been a really interesting topic. Yes, we really delve into it and we talk about the nitty gritty, right? We cover almost everything, and I like to close on this note. Like envy destroys, people or a group of people. Envy is hindering our collective growth as a group of people.
Yeah.
I give one example here in the US and in the many countries that I've been to, the few countries that I have been to, let me put it that way, before it sounds, somehow boastful. Yeah. So whenever you go to a foreign country, you'll find a group of people who hail from the same region grouping together, mingling. They live in the same area, they pool the resources, and that's how they thrive. And one classic example is the Somali community here in Minnesota. They are together. They are together. You go around the state of Minnesota, the Somali community, when you see a Somali business in Minnesota, you'll see almost 90%, 80% of the employees are Somalis. They stay together. Yes. But that is a problem for us as Liberians. It is a problem. So how are we going to succeed as a group of people? Even the Nigerians, the Ghanaians, the Nigerians in the diaspora contribute significantly to the development of their country back in Nigeria. Sometimes Many years ago, I think I was still a teenager. I was listening to the BBC, and they were talking about the percentage, of contributions made by diaspora Nigerians, towards the development of their country, and that number was impressive. Yeah, and it continues to this day. And there are Ghanaians too, who they come together, they pool their resources, and they're all experiencing collective growth. Nigerians here and Ghanaians in the diaspora are encouraging people to go back to their country. Now you see Ghana is really benefiting from this heritage tourism. Black Americans or the African diaspora trying to trace their roots back to Africa. And most of them are choosing Ghana. Because why? Like I said from the beginning, if your house doesn't sell you, the street will not buy you. Borrow from our old folks in Liberia. Our grandparents always say this. Because the Ghanaians love each other, they're so united, they are shining on a war stage. But how about Liberians? We have so much to offer when it comes to heritage tourism. We were talking about it the other day, that there are some Liberian families who can still trace their free slave ancestry right here in the US. Yeah. So, yeah. So, we need to come together. We need to come together. We need to stop fighting each other. It is only with unity that our country will rise up. On that note, we would like to close on that note. Let's unite and prosper together.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are around the world. Welcome to 1847 Liberty. We stream live from Minnesota, USA.
So as we come to the end of today's discussion, I want to take a moment to express our deepest gratitude to our incredible panelists. Your insights and diverse perspectives have truly enriched our conversation and provided invaluable information to our audience. Thank you for sharing your expertise, experiences, and passion on the subject we have tackled today. Your ability to engage thoughtfully with each other continues to set the gold standard for debate and public discourse. And we are so grateful for your contributions. Now, before we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect on the bigger picture of what this show is all about. Imagine a Liberia where citizens are empowered with adequate information and resources to thoroughly evaluate their leaders, demand transparency, and hold public officials accountable for their actions. Also, imagine a society where young people eagerly utilize various creative communication tools to transform their anger and frustrations into constructive dialogue and inspiring works of art. That's the Liberia we envision. And to achieve this significant undertaking, we look forward to partnering with you, our followers and supporters, Liberians from all walks of life and in every corner of the globe. I will see you next time. But until we meet again, please take good care of yourselves and remember to be kind to everyone. Thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are around the world. Welcome to 1847 Liberty. We stream live from Minnesota, USA.